Right now, I am sitting in the passenger seat of my husband's pickup truck. It's raining, and we are driving home after moving our son Oakley into his college dorm for his freshman year of college. And I'm just having this moment where I'm reflecting on the entire experience. All the college shopping, the anticipation, the excitement, the nerves, and not only the experience of our sons, but the experience of this with our two daughters. Even my own experience. I remember it like it was yesterday, moving into my college dorm freshman year. And before our son went away to school today, I got together with our two daughters who are 25 and 24, and we just talked about what are the things that we wish we knew that somebody had told us freshman year. These are the 7 things that I wish I had known. These are the 7 things that my daughters wish they had known. And these are the 7 things that I just told our son Oakley when I dropped him off just a few minutes ago. And as soon as I get back home, I'm going to get on that mic and I'm going to tell you those 7 things too. Hey, it's your friend Mel. I am back in the studio here in Vermont. I am so glad that you're here with me. First of all, welcome to the Mel Robbins podcast. I am so excited to be able to spend this time together with you. I'm so excited about what we're going to talk about today. And thank you for taking the time to listen to something that could help you create a better life. I just think that's so cool. It's always an honor to get to be here together with you. And if you're brand new, I want to take a moment and welcome you to the Mel Robbins podcast family and say, I just really love the time that you and I are going to spend together. And if you're listening to this right now, because your parents or a friend or an aunt or an uncle sent you this episode, I want to welcome you and I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this. You're going to love this because it is exactly what you need to hear and it's going to tell you exactly what you need to do. And by the time you're done listening, you're going to feel so better. You're going to have a plan. It's going to be awesome. And look, I know I said that there were 7 things that I wish I had known before I went to college. But since we dropped off our son yesterday, it's now the morning after, I've thought of another thing that I want to tell you. So there are actually 8 pieces of advice. These are the hard truths that you need to know. And the interesting thing about college drop-off is it is such a pivotal moment in your life that I remember every single detail of being dropped off by my parents freshman year when I went to college. And I went to college in 1986. I mean, that is 38 years ago. I can't believe that 38 years has passed. And look, do not turn this off. Like if you're a college student, you're going, what does this chick have to say to me if she went to college 38 years ago? I assure you, the advice is not only for me. It is also coming from my 24 and 25-year-old daughters. This is so relevant. It is going to be the kind of stuff where you're like, oh my gosh, that's true. Oh my gosh, that's true too. And before I jump into these 8 things I want you to know, I want to go all the way back 38 years and tell you something that happened during my college move-in that has always stuck with me. I mean, that moment when your parents are moving you in, that is a moment you will never forget because they're on edge. They're kind of acting weird. They're really sad and excited for you. You're feeling weird. Your roommates are there. Maybe their family's there. That's what happened for me. I didn't get to pick my roommates. It was random assignment. Shout out to Bernadine Wu, absolutely amazing roommate. She was there. She had already moved in. She had already picked her bed. We come rolling in from Michigan and an 18-hour drive. My parents move me in and the room is all set up. And we get to that point where now they need to leave, but I don't want them to leave, but it's getting awkward. And so I'm stalling. And it finally got to this point where it's like, okay, they got to go. I got to step into this new chapter of my life. So they walk out the door and I walk out behind them and we walk out to the car and we're going to say our goodbyes because I don't want to cry in front of my roommate. And I don't want to have that emotional experience in that cramped little dorm room. And so we're standing in front of the car and I hug my mom and then I hug my dad. And my dad says this thing to me that I will never forget. He said, Mel, don't let studying get in the way of your education. And at the time, I didn't really know what he meant. Like I thought, well, that's kind of cool advice. Like, don't let studying get in the way of your education. I kind of thought, oh, wow, my dad is giving me a license to party. He's saying, like, blow off classes, have fun. That's not what he meant. What my father meant when he said, don't let studying get in the way of your education, is that college teaches you about life. And it helps you build these skills that you cannot learn in a textbook. These are the skills that you learn by living, by going through change. He was talking about the education of life. Like, college isn't the greatest school. Life is the greatest school. And the 8 things that I wish that someone had told me were the exact types of things that my father was talking about that I would learn. These are the 8 schools that life teaches you and that the college experience forces you to learn. And these are really important skills. There are skills that are going to get you through life, skills that help you navigate absolutely every change that you're going to face in your life. And that's what college is. College is massive change. And you are going to learn to ride the ups and downs that every single change brings in your life by going through the college experience. Because you're learning so much, like beyond what subject you're going to study or what your major is going to be, you're learning how to be with yourself. You're learning how to advocate for yourself. You're learning to rely on yourself. You're learning what you like, what you don't like, how to meet new people, how to do things that are absolutely embarrassing, and then just keep moving forward. And every one of the 8 things that I'm about to unpack with you today, that I just told our son, these are the things that I wish I knew. These are the things that my dad was talking about. The education that college truly gives you, that you bring with you through the hardest moments in your life. And the hardest things about these 8 lessons is that you have to go through them in order to learn them. Like, you can't just listen to this podcast and all of a sudden you absorb it. I'm going to share these 8 things with you so that you know that this is something that you need to learn. And that brings me to the first piece of advice. And I want to read something to you. I'm a mom, of course. And so what do moms do? They, of course, send texts as soon as, they start missing their kid after they drop them off. And so sure enough, I woke up this morning. We dropped off Oakley yesterday. And I couldn't help myself. It was 6:47. And I immediately thought, okay, how did he do? It was his first night in his dorm room. How did he sleep? Like, how is he feeling? Is he waking up like I woke up? I woke up the first morning of my college experience in my brand new dorm room, and I was in a full-blown anxiety, dissociative meltdown. I was like out of my body, freaking out. I didn't want to start crying because I didn't want my roommates to know. And so I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send Oakley a text. And so I'm going to read this text to you. I sent this morning at 6:47 a.m. Hey, Oak, good morning. I'm so proud of you. I hope the first day was good and your bed was comfy. And then I put a little blue heart emoji. Be patient with yourself. It takes time to feel like you're in a rhythm and things feel comfortable. I remember it taking a while for me. I also remember feeling like I didn't quite know what to do when I had free time. There's this weird boredom or sense of the unknown those first few weeks, and everyone feels it. Do you know how much I wish I would have gotten a text like that? I mean, I didn't have a cell phone back then, but I wish I would have gotten a text that first morning where somebody told me that there's this weird sense of boredom or sense of the unknown those first few weeks. And that leads me to the first thing I wish someone had told me when I went to college. If you're bored, there's nothing wrong. In fact, it means you're doing college right. Boredom is a huge part of the college experience. Even when classes are in full swing, you will have days where you have 5 hours of time with nothing planned. And so I'm telling you, expect boredom to happen. Expect to not know what to do with the time. This is particularly true in the first couple months that you're there, where you're going to find yourself with 3 hours and you've got nothing to do. You got nobody to hang out with. It is a sign that you are in the middle of college and you are in the middle of a major change. There is nothing wrong. There is so much free time. You have no routine. You've got these massive swaths of time that are going to happen on the weekends. And here's the thing that happens is if you don't know that this is normal, that feeling bored or like, what do I do with an entire Saturday? Your default is going to be to sit in your dorm. That's a huge mistake. Whenever you're bored, I want you to do the opposite. I want you to walk out the door. Do not sit in your dorm room because there is so much going on around campus. And every time you find yourself with a few hours to kill, here's what I want you to do. I want you to walk out of your dorm room. I want you to go walk around the campus and find something new. Explore the new cafe, go to a different dining hall, walk into an academic building. Anytime you're bored, go explore facilities. Go look at, there's these like posters everywhere that have all kinds of programming and lectures and art things. Just take advantage of everything around you. Do not sit in your dorm room on your cell phone. Every single person, once they graduate from college, you know what they regret? They regret not exploring and taking advantage of everything that's on campus and in this new little town. Instead of sitting on social media, get out the door and go do something. Go to the free swim hours. Go climb up a rock wall. Go check out and watch a sports team that's practicing. Go to a pottery class. Go to every dining hall. Go to the health center. Go try out the clubs. Go back into the back of a classroom and listen to a lecture. Go do something. There is so much available to you. You know, I remember there was a particular moment the first couple weeks that I was a freshman in college, and I was in this big kind of campus center. At our college, there was one place where all the mailboxes were, and that's where you went to get your mail. It's also where the main dining hall was. And so I went and I got my mail, and I got a letter from home, and I was so homesick and I was so sad. And there were all of these people all around me. And that's the thing about being homesick. You can be surrounded by a bazillion people and still feel really lonely. And I didn't want anyone to see me crying. And so I darted to the nearest stairwell and I went down the stairs, something I hadn't done in the 2 weeks that I had been there. And I found myself on the lower level of this building that I'd been in every single day since I had been dropped off. I had no idea this lower level existed. And so here I am, with my letter, I'm feeling homesick and sorry for myself. And I find myself in this basement level hallway and I start walking down the hall and I realize, whoa, there's a photography lab. Whoa, there's a woodworking studio. Holy cow, there's a print workshop thing. And the final one at the end was this jewelry design studio. And I looked in and the lights were on and there was this older dude there with a long beard and he was like tinkering away with some sort of silver ring. And I just walked in out of desperation and I said, hi, I was just curious, like, what is this? And he explained to me that these were student workshops. They were available to anyone in the college community. You could just walk in there and sit down and learn how to make jewelry. And so I sat down and I started working next to this guy on some dumb little like wire project. And I went there every day for the next couple weeks. And it turns out I love making jewelry. In fact, it became a place that I worked my sophomore year. And I'm telling you this story because there are nooks and crannies all over your college campus just waiting to be discovered. But you will not discover them if you're sitting in your dorm room bored and alone and not knowing what to do. So if you're bored, there's nothing wrong. In fact, it means you're doing college right. Get out of your dorm room and go explore. I woke up this morning. We dropped off Oakley yesterday. I woke up the first morning of my college experience in my brand new dorm room, and I was in a full-blown anxiety, dissociative meltdown. And so I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send Oakley a text. Hey, Oak, good morning. I'm so proud of you. I hope the first day was good,